Jehovah Rapha, I am your healer. Jehovah Nissi, I am your banner. Jehovah Shalom, I am your Jehovah Sidkenu, I am your righteousness. And today it's probably the most well-known, Jehovah Rohi, or some say Ra'ah, I am your shepherd. Okay, so next week we're going to be moving into the New Testament and we'll be looking at the I am sayings of Jesus. But it's been good, I think, to be looking at the Old Testament names of God. I found it helpful. I hope you have. So Jehovah Rohi. Jehovah, I am. Rohi, shepherd. Rohi and another version, Raha, come from a Hebrew word meaning to feed, and came to mean a shepherd who feeds his flock. And the image of God as a shepherd is a much loved image, a much loved picture of God, because a shepherd feeds and cares for his sheep, and that's what God does for us. So the psalm that Sandra read for us is the best example of Jehovah Rohi, as it describes God as our shepherd. David, who became the king of Israel, started out as a shepherd boy. Yeah? So although he became king of Israel, he knew what it was like from personal experience to look after sheep. He knew that if they were to be safe and well, they needed a shepherd who would care for them, even if it meant putting his own life at risk. David protected his sheep from a lion and a bear, and he would have experienced other dangers. He would have experienced cold and heat and weariness and a lack of sleep, just so that he could care for his flock. So using his own personal experience as a shepherd, David wrote this psalm to teach us about God. But we must know God personally in order to fully appreciate him as our shepherd, who cares for us and provides all we need. There are other references to God as shepherd in the Bible. Isaiah 40 verse 11 says, he tends his flock like a shepherd. He gathers his lambs in his arms and carries them close to his heart. He gently leads those that have young. And I don't know, there's a picture, isn't there, of Jesus holding the lamb close to his heart, surrounded by sheep. So a picture of Jesus, the shepherd. In Ezekiel 34, God describes himself as a shepherd who will search for his sheep and look after them, who will rescue those who've gone astray, who will care for them in good pastures, make sure that they've got the best food to eat, who will bind up the injured and strengthen the weak, and who will feed his sheep with the spiritual food of his word. So Psalm 23 talks of a shepherd who walks with us through the difficult times of life, who restores us spiritually, provides our needs, protects us from evil, and who we will dwell with for eternity. But of course, if the Lord is going to be our shepherd, that means that we are sheep. I don't know how well you know sheep, but they're not the cleverest of animals. They kind of follow each other. So if one wanders off, the whole flock goes wandering off with them. They get into trouble and they get into difficulty. And Isaiah says that we too are like sheep. and we wander away. He says, we all like sheep have gone astray. Each one of us has turned to our own way, and the Lord has laid on him, that's Jesus, the iniquity of us all. Well, Jesus is God. He is also Jehovah Rohi. He said, I am the good shepherd. And we're going to explore that in more detail in a few weeks' time. But for now, we need to know that Jesus is the fulfillment of all that the Bible says about Jehovah Rohi. He cares for us, he leads us the right way, he seeks and saves his lost sheep. And then when we follow our shepherd, we will be able to say along with David, my cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.